Okay, I thought I'd do a video on some of my beachcombing finds, which I found off the coast of Suffolk, which is kind of round about here. Now it's quite a good place to look for things because there's a wide variety of history to be found, from Ice Age fossils, shipwreck material, and World War II. Now if we look on a chart, you can see there's a lot of shipwrecks off the coast here. All of these points here are shipwrecks. Also, there are a lot of bomber airfields located here in World War II, where they'd cross the North Sea over to Europe, as well as further back in time, Ice Age fossils. Okay, so starting with, I suppose, the oldest material. Got these fossils. These are all from mammals, I believe, before the Ice Age. There's a piece of deer antler here, very obviously a piece of deer antler. Piece of, I don't know, rib maybe. Another piece of deer antler. And this is quite interesting. This is the toe bone from a pony. That would have gone in the horse's hoof there. So all kind of mammals that would have lived in this area at the time. There's a piece of vertebrae there. Don't know what that's from. Quite a large animal, I guess. Okay, then moving on. This is a piece of pottery which was washed out of the cliff. And I did actually look this up in a book. And this actually comes from Germany, I think in the 13th or the 14th century. You can see how they made that. And more pottery actually, a bit older. This I think is Roman greyware. It's washed out of the cliff again. And then onto some of the shipwreck finds. There's an old piece of cordage here. It's made out of some kind of natural fibre like hemp or manila, and it's coated in tar. So it could be any age, I guess. Up until they invented nylon ropes, I suppose. This is a piece of bronze fastener that I pulled out of a piece of shipwreck timber. Would have been used to hold the planks of wood onto the frames or what have you. And this is the same sort of thing. This is what's called a tree nail or a trunnel. Obviously cheaper than using metal. This would have been a fastener to hold the planking onto the ship's frames. These are pieces of copper sheathing, which would have been on the bottom of a wooden sailing ship, which did two things. It stopped worms eating the timber. In the tropics, that would have been a teredo worm, or in Europe you'd call it a gribble worm. This one's marked, well, it would have been marked Munt's patent, which I looked up. This was an alloy of 60% copper, 40% zinc, which is cheaper than using pure copper. That was developed in 1830 for ships, sheathing a ship's hull. You can see where this would have been nailed on. Got several pieces of that. Another big piece here. Another smaller piece. Obviously been torn up and damaged when the ship was wrecked. This is a cork net float. Would have come off a herring adrift net to hold the top of the net up. Could be any age, I guess. Could be very old, or maybe, I guess, up to the 1950s. And then onto World War II. This is the cartridge case from a Browning 50 caliber machine gun. That would have probably come off an American aircraft. They used them on the bombers and the fighters. And if you look at the stamp on there, it says SL4. I looked that up. That means this was made in St. Louis in 1944. Also World War II related. There's some pieces of aluminium here, which I'm fairly sure probably came off an aircraft wreck. I've found some bigger pieces in the past. There's several aircraft wrecks recorded off the coast. Some American, some German. Got no way of knowing what type of aircraft these came off. And going on to probably my favourite thing to find, which is amber. Now this apparently was formed in the Baltic, where they still find it today, but was carried to this area by the ice sheets. And it's on the seabed. Best time to look for this is after there's been an onshore wind or storm. This is kind of what it looks like when it washes up. Just looks like any other stone really, but can be polished up very easily. Good piece there. There's an unusual white piece there, sometimes called royal amber apparently. Some of the best bits I've given away, I've made them into jewellery and what have you, gave them away as gifts. There's a piece here which I've shaped and polished up. Might make that into a a necklace or something. Okay, I hope that was interesting. Bye.